Mandatory evacuations underway right now in Florida. About 24 hours from now, Hurricane Helene is expected to make landfall in the Big Bend or the Panhandle region. Winds expected to be over 100 miles an hour with heavy rain and a significant storm surge.
We are definitely cautious. We want people to remain calm, don't panic, get the correct information, make sure you get your information from valid sources. And make your decisions. Today is today. This is it. Make your decisions today. Evacuate.
Now keep in mind this, when wind speeds reach sustained levels of 40 miles per hour, all emergency medical services are stopped because of safety concerns over ambulance dispatch in high winds. So that's why some counties have told people they need to get out now for their own safety.
And new video from Cuba as Helene dumps rain on the island nation. The storm is tracking right through that space in between Mexico and Cuba. This hurricane is strengthening. Storm Team 10 Chief Meteorologist Mark Searles is here with the newest data, saying earlier that it could become a Category 4.
Yikes.
Yeah, that's not good news, right? Obviously, and the issue with this storm, the pretty cool perspective that we have for you here from Storm Team 10. This is the land areas obviously shot at night when you can see the light pollution, if you will. It gives you an idea of the heavily populated areas relative to where the storm is expected to make its landfall. Obviously, in Miami, the entire east coast and west coast, if you will, of Florida, as well as the Orlando area, heavily populated. The storm is expected to become a Category 4 storm at landfall in that relatively lesser populated area of the Big Bend. Not to say nobody lives there. Obviously, it's still about 40 miles or so from Tallahassee, which is a populous center. But look at Atlanta metro area, right in the crosshairs from the storm, which will weaken to a powerful tropical storm. Could still be technically near hurricane strength by the time it passes over the Atlanta metro area. So this is going to have wide-reaching implications. And even though outside of the cone, if you will, of uncertainty, the areas along the west coast of Florida are going to be exposed to some powerful storm surge and even some strong wind gusts. This is going to be a very large, unusually large system in terms of size, so its impact is going to reach out quite a distance from its center. It is going to be a big impact, and we're going to talk about a lot of inland rain and some big-time flooding up through the southeast. Over there.
All right, thanks for that, Vita. As well as Hurricane Helene inches closer to our state, people are being warned to prepare.
That's specifically areas in Florida's Big Bend region and the Panhandle where hurricane warnings have already been issued. Yeah,
CBS 12's Danny Travis is joining us tonight over in Apalachicola. That's in the Panhandle, where people there are bracing for the storm.
Yeah, Jim and Liz, well, this is an all too familiar feeling for residents here in Apalachicola as they're still recovering from Hurricane Debbie, which hit here just last month. But Helene, as we're hearing, a much stronger hurricane, making preparations here look a whole lot different this time around. Partly cloudy skies and occasional rays of sun shine down over Apalachicola on Wednesday afternoon, an almost calming scene before the storm. But a message from Franklin County officials is leaving anything but a calm feeling for many who live here.
A lot of people have not experienced a hurricane of this magnitude that is, fastly approaching us.
The conditions are going to get really bad and you need to leave.
That's why mandatory evacuations are already underway for the entire coastal county. When evacuation orders are implemented, that means once wind speeds reach sustained levels of 40 miles per hour, all emergency medical services like ambulance dispatch are stopped.
We're a rural county, and so our limited ambulances that we have, we don't need them rolled over on the side of the road from wind blowing them over.
Right now, Helene is forecasted to make landfall with wind speeds of more than 120 miles per hour. And rolling cars isn't the only thing locals are concerned about.
Making sure that all the windows and doors are secured and nothing can go through.
We took the awnings down because in Hurricane Michael, I lost the awnings and they went through the plate glass window.
For newer residents, Helene comes with lots of waves of uncertainty.
California native, lived out here about 2 years, first big hurricane. We come from earthquakes, so we can't prepare for that.
With big hurricanes comes flooding. Locals are filling up sandbags at various locations around the county.
Even the tiniest of helpers lending a hand.
I just want people to be prepared. I want people to evacuate. I want them to be safe, and my job is to make sure everybody is safe.
And Jim and Liz, the big message again is now is the time for these coastal communities to evacuate. Know your plan, and as we've been saying for months, have a hurricane kit. Now, EOC officials say that should include non-perishable food items, lots of water, medicine if you have any, and batteries. Reporting live in Apalachicola here in the Florida Panhandle, I'm Danny Travis, CBS 12 News.
Now, as we speak, the outer bands of Hurricane Helene are pounding Florida with powerful winds and extremely dangerous storm surge just hours before the Category 3 storm even makes landfall. We're also getting a live look at the life-threatening conditions up and down the Panhandle. Take a look here. Waves raging high enough that at times they are crashing against and toppling roadways. This hurricane is expected to be the strongest to hit the United States in more than a year. Our First Alert weather team is closely tracking Helene. Thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Scott Thuman. I'm here, of course, with Chief Meteorologist Veronica Johnson. And VJ, the big question, of course, is always how long before we see landfall, and what do you see happening beyond that, really in the next 12 hours or so? What are we talking about?
Yeah, I'm thinking landfall here, Scott, in about 3 hours, maybe a little more.
Okay.
Big Bend area. Unfortunately, I really think that's going to be catastrophic. We've got about another hour, maybe hour and a half before we get into this thing dark in the dark of night here with such high wind and heavy rain. Look at where the storm system is spinning right now. The rain bans Panama City. They've been getting about 8 to 9 inches of rain. Cedar Key, Tampa, all with the wet weather, and that tropical moisture extends all the way up, funneling at ahead of a weather front in the mountains of North Carolina.
Now, rescue operations are underway in hazardous conditions. Countless people across several states are now stranded by the devastation of Tropical Storm Helene. This is the National News Desk, America's News Now. I'm Angela Brown in for Jan Jeffcoat. It's Friday, September 27th, and the size and power of this deadly storm cannot be overstated. It may be too late to evacuate some people on this point. Right now, millions of people are warned to hunker down and avoid going out in these conditions until the storm passes. Here's what you need to know right now. Helene was a Category 4 storm, but has been downgraded to a tropical storm. And right now, 6 states are under a state of emergency and millions of people are without power. The video coming out of the region really tells a story. Here's a look right here. This is Treasure Island, Florida. You're looking at it, and this is before the full force of that storm actually swept in. And already you can see the roads are flooded and cars are simply pushed around by the wind. And now this video also showing the dangers of this storm pulling down power lines. I mean, look at that. And even light poles. One storm chaser was recording as a light pole sparked right next to him. And take a look at this right here. This is a bridge in Lee County, Florida. It's almost underwater from storm surge as winds, strong winds, put drivers in a lot of danger here. We have team coverage beginning with Mark Boyle at the live desk tracking where the storm hit and where it's headed next. Mark?
Angela, will be curious when the sun comes up in just a little bit to see how the infrastructure and those homes are doing down there in that community. This morning, people in the path of Helene still hunkering down as the storm brings record storm surge and hurricane force winds to the region. A live look this morning to my left in Tampa, where you can see the stop sign gauges. Take a look. There's the water line right there. It's hard to see because it's so dark, but this is a road behind us, and that is completely covered with water this morning. The storm surge came in right before the storm made landfall late last night. Landfall was just after 11 p.m. near Perry, Florida, as a major Category 4 storm. That's about 90 miles northwest of Gainesville, where the University of Florida is. But since then, it has been downgraded, as Angela mentioned, now a tropical storm. It was so powerful, some emergency responders had to suspend services overnight. Others, like in the video here behind me, they conducted these high water rescues out there, saving people who were trapped and needed to get out as the water came up. And you know that now at least 2 people have been killed in Georgia after a possible tornado hit a mobile home park there. And in a late night press conference, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis announced the first storm-related death in his state.
We have had a report of a fatality on the roadway, car driving on I-4 near Ybor City in Tampa. Was hit when a sign fell onto the highway. So that just shows you that it's very dangerous conditions out there. You need to be right now just hunkering down.
And we knew this was going to be a problem, the power outage situation. We just updated these numbers for you right now at 6 a.m. on the East Coast in Florida. More than 1.2 million customers in the dark in Florida. Georgia with more than 800,000. South Carolina's up there as well. Nearly 500,000 customers without power. And North Carolina, 138,000 customers without power. And officials are concerned that it will be weeks to repair some of the power there. The storm pushed water levels all across the 5 Tampa area gauges to levels they've not seen before. Take a look at this graphic. Records going back to 1950. At last check, those levels are still rising. Here's the latest forecast cone for the storm. Right now, Helene is tracking north into Georgia. It's going to make this left turn into Tennessee. We are keeping a close eye on the radar for you throughout the morning and update you right here at the live desk with more video and updates and online anytime at thenationaldesk.com.
And we start tonight with new video showing a house being washed away in Asheville, North Carolina. Take a look. It just collapses in the major flooding you see here, a result of Hurricane Helene. The storm hammering several states, including southwestern Virginia, with heavy rain, tornadoes, and severe flooding. And 7 News has been tracking the aftermath all day long, now into the evening. Thank you for joining us here on 7 News. I'm Megan Clark. And here in the DMV, the rain continues through the weekend. For more on that, let's go ahead and check in now with Chief Meteorologist Veronica Johnson with what we can expect here, VJ.
Yeah, we've been on the lighter side, much lighter side of all those bands coming off of Helene. You can see showers moving through areas around D.C. Metro, the Beltway, Anne Arundel County, Prince George's County getting the rain, and then off to the west where there's been some flooding in far western Virginia, especially that southwest pocket. Things are really settling down. All the rain now over here, southern areas of Illinois and southern Indiana. That's where what's left of this system is post-tropical cyclone spinning, and that will spin back over us on Sunday and Monday, early part of next week. So fewer flood watches, fewer flood warnings for areas down through western North Carolina as well. But look at the reports today of tornadoes. That was 5 reports today in North Carolina, in West Virginia, and also far southwestern Virginia. So again, for us here overnight, the showers will continue to diminish. We'll have less rain. By the time you wake up early tomorrow morning at dawn there, rain will be ending and there could be some fog lingering until 9 a.m. Otherwise, get ready for sunshine. Skies will be turning partly sunny. Temperatures in the morning anywhere between 68 and 73 degrees. But with the sunshine tomorrow, it is going to be a warm one. But again, I did say sunshine. It'll be the first in a week. I'll walk you through the forecast hour by hour. And of course, we'll take a look at the future radar for Sunday.
I'm Tom Rousey at the Alert Desk. We're continuing to track the effects of Helene throughout the country. This was posted this evening by Virginia Task Force 1, based out of Northern Virginia. These are members of Virginia Task Force 1 down in Florida helping out on the scene today. Let me show you a few more pictures here. What they did, among other things, was they searched for victims and they also checked for damage and checked for block roads. Now, a lot of focus on Florida, but a lot of focus on the southeast, as Veronica mentioned. Let me show you. This is Asheville right here. Just unbelievable, the flooding in that North Carolina town. In addition to that, this is east of Asheville. You see these homes almost completely underwater. And this is video from earlier today from Virginia State Police. This is actually Tennessee, but they helped the National Guard and Tennessee rescue folks. This is a hospital right there. There were 54 people trapped on the roof. All of them, thankfully, were rescued, Megan.
I mean, that is just...
There's been reports of over 100 dead and consequence of this storm, and there are reports of up 600 people unaccounted for because they can't be contacted. God willing, they're alive, but there's no way to contact them again because of the lack of cell phone coverage.
And we'll be back, and we'll be back again soon. We'll continue to help until you're bigger. I say bigger, better, stronger than ever before. But again, you can't ever discount the fact that people are lost. A lot of people have been lost in this terrible storm, this terrible hurricane.
Chimney Rock and Lake Lure suffered some of the most severe damage from Helene. Rutherford County continues to take missing persons reports after evacuating more than 100 residents. Traffic in the area is limited. News 13's Jennifer Emmert was in Lake Lure today.
This is as far as we can go into the Lake Lure area along 6474 near the Pool Creek Picnic Park on Lake Lure. If you take a look behind me, the Lakeside Chapel on Saturday, it was underwater all the way up to the cross.
When you get there, you're just like, you want to cry. It's like, what do you do? You know, where do you go? You just stand and look around. There's just stuff laying everywhere.
Dale Shields has hauled truckload after truckload of debris from Lake Lure. A bird's eye view reveals the devastation.
When you get to right above the Chimney Rock Park entrance, the river's about 300 foot wide. There's no road. It's gone. All the houses from there up is gone. The bridge, the Flowering Bridge, gone.
Government agencies, with the help of Shields, other contractors, and community volunteers like William Smith, are slowly clearing Rutherford and Polk County roads.
You might go 10 feet and cut 3 trees. You might go a mile and cut 10, but everybody just pulled together and tried to get out.
Smith shared some of the damage he'd seen on Cedar Creek Road and to Highway 64 at Rock Springs.
We can check.
TJ Brady is on leave from the South Carolina Helicopter Aquatic Rescue Team.
I've been deployed to Hurricane Harvey, all the things at the coast, and I think the devastation here outweighs anything that I've ever been to in my life.
That didn't stop him from helping in other ways.
I climbed on my roof, grabbed my Wi-Fi off the roof, and came here and brought a coffee maker, a generator, and gave people Wi-Fi so they can at least contact their family members.
The sheer volume of water threatened Lake Lure Dam and tossed boats onto sidewalks and docks. It also damaged boathouses and required heavy machinery to untangle the mess when docks broke free. In the midst of the damage, a wedding at Lake Lure Inn.
During this time, we were able to pull off a wedding, so very happy that the bride and groom were able to enjoy their day at our hotel.
Lake Lure residents still in shock by the power of Helene.
It hit. It was nothing, and all of a sudden, boom. And whatever it was, just like, sounded like it exploded. We had 2 trees fall on the house.
Pulling together and bracing for the cleanup that remains.
The silt down in the lake is horrible. It looks like a big island out on the lake. And a marina, if you've ever been to Lake Lure and seen the marina, it's gone. There's no marina. It's history, everything.
The cleanup here in Lake Lure will take quite some time. Community crews tell me they'll keep working as long and as hard as they can. In Lake Lure, Jennifer Emmert, News 13.
We are continuing to try to reach all of the areas dealing with the impact left by Helene. Weaverville is one of the smaller communities waiting for assistance.
In the meantime, as News 13's Ed Diorio shows us, residents in the town are doing what they can to help each other.
In the days following Hurricane Helene, there has been progress on restoration, rescue efforts, and cleanup in the area, but it's mostly been to the populated parts of western North Carolina. That has left many small towns in the region still with images like this. Bridges that stood for decades destroyed, gone in these small waterways that are now filled with wood, debris, and even big containers right behind me. It's all happening in these small towns, and there's no word as to when outside assistance will get here, so the help is coming from within. Towns like Weaverville, North Carolina don't know what normal is right now.
Never thought it was going to be like this.
Some people were stranded.
Yeah, there were trees on Hamburg Mountain on both sides of our road. It's the only way in and out is the one little road.
Some people still aren't. But you and your neighbors, I mean, are you okay? This is how it could be for who knows how long. So those who make up Weaverville aren't waiting.
We got a generator going. We were able with some lanterns.
The prescription pad, a Main Street staple, has been scrambling to help hundreds get crucial medication.
But we're giving everybody at least a 5-day supply of their critical meds, of what they need.
And they're reaching beyond the drive-through window.
The Weaverville Fire Department has been great to help us deliver medications to people that we can't get to.
Not everybody needs meds, but everybody does need food.
We started to just cook food for our immediate family, but people saw the doors were open and they just started coming in, and so we just started cooking more and more and more food and just kept putting it out.
As Main Street Grill is giving away what's left in the freezer, they're collecting even more.
Yeah, we'll have a table here, for people to drop stuff off. Yeah, absolutely. Okay.
And we just got our power back.
Have a little place for people to drop off non-perishables for people who needed it as well.
A community coming together to make a new normal.
You know, this is a small community, but everyone helps each other, and yeah, it is a source of pride to be a part of that right now.
Another big question here and in many parts of Western North Carolina is water supply. In Weaverville, there are multiple stations along Main Street and nearby.